Many actors in the firmament of Hollywood have had successful entertainment careers and been social activists, championing causes they feel passionate about. Some celebrities pursue their causes with more vigor than others. However, Martin Sheen is unique in that both his on-screen and off-screen personas are predominantly politically active. On-screen, Martin Sheen has played 4 different presidents, ranging from the very real President Kennedy in a popular TV miniseries, to the very fictional Jeb Bartlett and the very sinister Greg Stilson in The Dead Zone. Martin Sheen also played one chief of staff in The American President. However, Sheen's love for politics and political activism isn't limited to televised accounts of the great deeds of great men. No, he jumps right in, taking a prominent role in protesting the Iraq War, drawing attention to the genocide in Darfur, even going so far as to get arrested for trespassing. Ramon Gerardo Antonio Estevez was born August 3, 1940 in Dayton, Ohio, into a working-class family. He was one of 10 siblings, all of which were raised to be devout Roman Catholics. Sheen was drawn to acting at an early age and adopted the stage name Martin Sheen in honor of the Catholic Archbishop and theologian Fulton J. Sheen. Despite the disapproval of his parents, Sheen purposely flunked his college entrance exam at the University of Dayton so that he could pursue a career in acting. It wasn't until years later, when he was becoming a successful actor, that his father first saw his son on screen at a local drive-in theater. Colin sat down with Martin Sheen for just a few minutes to learn a little more about the man.
Well, Mr. Sheen, it's a real honor to have you here today.
I'm honored.
It's
Please call
wonderful.
me Martin.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
First off, I kind of have, it's 3 a.m. and the phone rings. Who do you want to answer the phone?
My wife. Well, if you're asking me personally who I want to answer the phone, it would be an assistant, hopefully the security advisor to President Obama.
Sure. Awesome.
I don't want Mr. Obama answering the phone at that hour. Mm-hmm. He should only be awakened if it's a real emergency.
Right.
And only his top security advisor would be capable of knowing what's really an emergency.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Senator Obama. What kind of qualities are you looking for in a successful president?
Someone who has the courage to tell the truth and to offer a sense of hope and reconciliation to a nation that's been bashed and battered for, dare I say, 7 years and on.
Do you secretly refer to yourself as Mr. President when no one's looking?
No, I was referred to very fondly when the West Wing was still on the air as the acting president of the United States, and I have a lot of fun with that phrase. I'll use that tonight in my remarks, hopefully, because since 2006 I am referred to fondly as the former acting president of the United States.
So you've been cast a few times, 4 times I think, as president. Do you actively seek out those roles, or do people generally kind of cast you?
Yeah, I don't have a clue why so many of them came my way. I was fortunate in a lot of respects, but intimidated, equally intimidated by them, particularly President Kennedy, because I admired him. In fact, I loved him, and I was asked to do a miniseries on his life in 1983, and I turned it down initially because I didn't think I could do it, and I wasn't sure that it should even be done. I didn't think anyone could honestly portray him, and they kept coming back. It was a British production company, and they insisted. Each time I turned it down, they came back with more and more incentives to do it. And finally my wife said, look, maybe you should play him because you loved him. And if by you playing him you prevent someone from playing him who did not love him, you will perform a service. And I said, I said yes at that with that in mind, and I'm glad I did. But still, I was intimidated and came up short. But at least I tried to give it an honest and a compassionate point of view.
Mm-hmm. Kind of going along with that, what role have you played that you felt most comfortable, kind of had the most fun on? Is there any particular role that you know, one of your top ones?
Well, actually, it was a film that I played a heinous villain, and I really had the most fun. And I worked with one of the great directors and one of my great friends, and that was Terrence Malick in Badlands with Sissy Spacek, which we did out in Colorado in the summer of 1972. It was one of the best times I ever had. We shot the film with a very, very small crew. I think we had like 17. I made more money in per diem than I did in salary, because it was a very tiny production. And it was the only film that I ever received a back end, you know, where when it was released, I got an added bonus, and very unexpectedly. And it's one of the 2 films that I'm most proud of in my life. The other one, of course, is Apocalypse Now. And I'm only proud because I survived it. And I think Francis is happy because he survived me. But those 2 films in particular were very gratifying. One was extremely difficult, both emotionally and physically, and the other one was difficult in that I had to kind of play an heroic villain.
Sure.
And because that role was based, I'm talking about Badlands, was based on Charlie Starkweather, who was the first media acknowledged serial killer in the United States, and that would have been in 1958. And I remembered him very well as a young man. And Badlands is not the real story of that relationship between he and Caroline Fugate, but it is a fictionalized account of their heinous journey across the Southwest.